All right, here we are on Let There Be Talk, another episode. I'm out in, what is this, Signal Hill? Is that
Signal Hill, Long Beach.
It's Long Beach, yeah. I never even heard of Signal Hill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, Long Beach was built on oil, and this is like the epicenter, and it's one of the last remaining, as far as downtown Long Beach goes. Like, you know, you can see.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, there's actually oil pumps right next to us.
Yeah, the wells are all over the place.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, this is my favorite studio out here.
Yeah, where are we at? What's it called?
This is the Compound Studio.
The Compound Studio is my guest, which I'm fired up. I've been waiting to have you on the show for about a year. Jay Buchanan right here, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Rival Son singer.
Yeah, we've been busy, man, so thanks for being patient.
Oh, yeah. I had Miley on about a year ago.
Yeah.
I think he called in from, where were you guys doing that record, Detroit or Nashville?
Oh, this last record we did it in Nashville.
Right, he was calling from there.
Yeah.
While you guys were recording it.
Yeah.
Head Down, which is a killer record, man.
Thanks, man.
But, I mean, the reason I want to have you on is, like, I love rock. Like, we just talked before we turned on the mics. I grew up on, like, classic rock.
Yeah, right.
And I love everything about it. We have a mutual friend, Mark Ford, which I couldn't believe, which is pretty sick. But the reason I like your band is it's so real deal to me. You know what I mean? Like, there's always a band that's going to kind of be like you guys, where they come out, I think, every, 5 years, where you go, oh, here's a rock band or something, and they've got the outfits or something, but then it's not quite there. They have like, they just turn this riff around, and you know what I mean? It's hokey. It doesn't feel real.
Yeah, that's going to happen, man. And you know, we've seen that happen, and I'm sure there's probably people out there that look at us and they feel the same way. You know, they probably look at us and go, oh, yeah, they're doing the sound, the classic throwback rock and everything. But but
the thing is about what's different with you guys is the songs, they actually have, like, a sound, you know what I mean? Like, of course we know where it's coming from. It's like, you know, it's a classic rock sound, but it sounds like a band. And I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Like, a lot of bands now, like, they'll just be, if they want to sound like Sabbath, they just sound exactly like Sabbath.
Right, yeah.
Which is like, what are you doing, man? That's like paranoid.
Well, you know what, and I think it definitely applies to us too. When we first got together, it's important to wear your influences on your sleeve. You know, like, it's like training wheels for a bike.
That's right.
If you look at any of the bands that we like, you know, from the classic rock and roll bands to even, you know, earlier than what we consider like classic rock, you go into the 50s, and you can check out like Buddy Holly, Carl Perkins, like all of these people. Well, they were emulating. You know, they started out emulating, and then, you know, by way of just transition, they end up purveying their own style. Yeah,
I mean, that you guys definitely, from the Pressure and Time record to the Head Down record, totally different records. Yeah. You know, this one's kind of more garagey, kind of like, it's more. It sounds more like something like Little Steven would play on his garage. You know what I mean? Where the other one was definitely kind of Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Free. You know, I hear a lot of Free, Fire and Water. I don't know if you know Frankie Miller. You know, yeah, like Frankie Miller, man.
Love Frankie Miller.
That's the shit.
I just got turned on to Frankie Miller, I think, year before last, and boy, like, I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah, you can't believe it. I know, huh?
Yeah, what a voice.
Yeah, people always say, like, what happened was, the way I got turned on was some guy said, hey, you sound like Frankie Miller. I was like, I never heard of him. Yeah. Then he gives me a couple CDs. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. Then you realize, oh, Paul Rogers and Rod Stewart, they just robbed this guy.
Well, yeah, and I think for me, the record that I'm familiar with from him is the High Life.
That's the good one, High Life. Yeah. That Brickyard Blues, give me some liquor.
Yeah, I love all, and what's that one? So I says to myself.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
It's so good.
Yeah, but that was written by the whole record. Like, the songs are so good. It was all made by what's the guy's name? The New Orleans guy. The guy that's famous for yes we can, yes we can.
Oh yeah.
I forget that guy's name.
Yeah, but that's totally the sound of it.
Yeah, but he produced that record, and that's really the one.
And he looks sick too. He looks cool, man. You know.
Yeah, he's got a fucked up grill, and you know.
Yeah, he looks like kind of Bon Scott meets fucking like just I don't know, like brawler.
You wouldn't ask him to hold your money or to take your girl out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know, the thing is about that's what I love about your band. Like I hear it and I go, I can't pinpoint like, oh, this is exact this song or whatever. It's just got this great flavor. And it's hard to do in this time without actually loving it, because you're not going to put together this style of band and be like, oh, yeah, we're going to get rich and make it.
Well, yeah, there's no getting rich in
music.
In playing music. No. That time is gone. We no longer make money off of our intellectual property or, you know,
not at all.
Records.
Yeah.
You can't even call it the record business anymore.
Not at all.
You don't make a living. You can't make a living off of that stuff. But
yeah, and also people just steal the music, you know.
Well, yeah, that's why.
Yeah, and I always say, like, people ask why I quit playing music, you know, because like I played music 25 years, and it would be this after every show, like you're out there selling CDs and stuff, and you go, hey, you want to buy a CD? And the person would say, oh, no, my friend downloaded it for me, man, I love it. They don't even realize they just told you they stole your record. Yeah, they just think that's what you do.
Well, you know, I think for the most part, man, when it shows, you know, you run into people like that. I think that people have gotten a lot more hip to it, you know, recently. Yeah. Or at least those are the people that come up and talk to you, that go, yeah, I downloaded it because I couldn't get it, and then I just told myself as soon as it was available, I'd buy it.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I borrowed it for a little bit, but I'm paying you back now.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
And that's legitimate. They'll go, yeah, you know, or they'll come up and they'll say, yeah, you know, my buddy burned me a CD and I felt bad about it, but it's like I needed it. And so now I'm buying one of your vinyls because I want it on vinyl.
I love vinyl, right? Also, I think people got burned so long with just one song on a record.
Well, it was a gamble, that whole romanticism, because you knew. Yeah. When you were going, you know, to the record store, you knew that you were taking a gamble, but there was something thrilling about it. Yeah. You look at the cover like, man, I like that one song. Are they going to let me down? I don't know, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to give them my bread. Yeah. And you take it home, and sometimes you win, and it feels really good to really win, and then there's those other times where you go, man, what? Oh. There's only that one. Man, I don't even like that one song anymore. When I really listen to it, I don't like that song at all.
You actually feel burned.
Yeah.
You know what's weird about when you have a record you don't like, it sits in your house, and you just kind of like, you don't throw it away.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? You kind of sit there and you're like, that thing's a piece of shit. But
you're like, I paid for that.
Yeah, man. I've done that with some records. I remember there was a record I bought, and I was just blown away how bad it was, you know? And I was like, fuck, this is a couple years ago. But I still buy music. Yeah. Because I played music all my life. I just buy it. I never thought of ripping it off, you know? Yeah. But I hear people every night when I'm out. I do comedy, and they're like, oh, yeah, I just downloaded this new band. You heard it? Yeah. I'm like, did you buy it? You know?
Right. Well, you know, I mean, it is what it is. And it's like everything is changing. Everything's in flux right now as far as, like, mediums and media keeps changing. Yep. So it's like, what's the format? You know, downloadable MP3s, all of that stuff. There's really no sense in whining about it, because on one hand, you've got, like, I can't make any bread. I got to stay on the road, you know, pay my bills back home, and you know, the rest of the band too. And I'm a family man, you know.
Yeah, you got a family?
Yeah. So it's like, I'd much rather be home. Yeah. But it's, you know, I'd much rather see the kids and pet my dogs. And
how many kids you got?
Well, I got one, and then I got my gal's daughter that I've been raising for like the last 6 years. Wow. And but it's like you look at it and you go, okay, I can't make money off of this. Everything's changed, and it's only rough because I'm on this side of the curtain. On the other side of the curtain, look at what we've gained, you know? Oh, hell yeah. Imagine, like, put yourself, when you were a kid, when you save up your money, I used to spend all of my money on CDs, you know, and just buy records and everything. And you'd go to the record store, the music shop, when it was like Warehouse or just whatever was around. You go, what do they have? And you'd peruse through everything. And for you, that was your whole world, is whatever collection they had there. But now, and you would hear about stuff, you'd have to special order it, look for an import. Now, you can go online, and you can get virtually any piece of music that's ever been pressed.
Absolutely.
And you can have it in your hands if you've got the bread to overnight or however an original pressing of whatever record, whatever, you can have it in your hands within 24 hours.
Yeah.
When
pretty
I
cool.
was a kid, it's like being given the keys to the candy store.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Now you have your own record store at your house.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So for me, I trade convenience because I tour all of the time and I'm always on the road. I can't bring my record collection. So then I have the MP3s and I have my iPod. And you look at it and you go, okay, sonically it's really cheap. But I'm trading quality for convenience.
Absolutely.
I can listen to any,
Car radio sounds like shit back in the day, but that's where you got all your knowledge from in the back seat of a car,
Well, and you grew to love that sound.
I do love that sound.
Yeah.
I do love that. I mean, like I love Neil Young, On the Beach. It's like one of my favorite records of all time.
Right.
He wouldn't put it out on CD, but I own it on vinyl now, like 180 milligram, and it's like some of the most epic sounding piece of music I own.
And isn't it something after like listening to it on tape or whatever, and then and you're used to hearing it in your car, and you're used to hearing it all jacked up,
compressed.
But you're used to it, and you fall in love, and there's a romanticism. And then when you hear it and you can hear everything, I've never heard that. I've listened to this record a million times.
It's another record.
And it sounds like a totally different thing. That's how Blood on the Tracks was.
Awesome record.
And because I had a crappy old Caliphone record player, little mono deal.
Yeah.
I listened to Blood on the Tracks and Blonde on Blonde over and over when I was a kid. And then finally getting it on CD and listening to it with headphones. Whoa, what?
So you're a Dylan guy?
Yeah.
So before Rivals, you were doing what were you doing? Like folk rock?
No, this is I've never been part of, I never had any interest in rock and roll.
Right.
As far as being in a rock and roll band, because growing up for me, I was raised on the blues. And of course I loved rock and roll,
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin, a little bit of The Who, and the Kinks, I think, are one of the most underrated.
I hear a lot of Kinks in Head Down.
Yeah, I love the Kinks. And then the Animals.
Oh, yeah.
The Doors and just all of those bands. And then growing up, I listened to what rock and roll was being made, aside from the Black Crowes. I listened to the rock and roll that was, in the populace, and it was all, they would call it rock and roll, but then rock and roll became rock because people didn't want to deal with the blues. Okay, let's take the blues out of there because it takes too much sincerity.
Yeah.
And that's too hard to come by, so let's just call it rock. And so then we have rock stars. All of this stuff, and everybody wants to be a rock star. Yeah, go rock star. And for me, I looked at that whole scene and I went, man, I love music so much. I never want to be part of the problem. All the posturing and everything.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be part of it. But then when we got together, we all got in the same room, and I was hoping it wasn't going to work. And they called me like, I was like, man, I don't have time. I was in pre-production for another solo record, and I was really busy. No time to take on another project. And we got in the room, and there was so much power. It's like,
oh, man.
we have to...
I wish you guys filmed that day.
Clear the schedule. We have to do this. But before then, had a pretty successful solo career, and it's more like it's folky, but it's like soul, more like a Van Morrison sort of a thing, horns and a larger band, and but also a lot of acoustic stuff, playing dulcimer, mandolin, and different stringed instruments, doing that. But just serious songwriting was always my jam.
Yeah, you got great lyrics.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing I think that that's the thing that separates it like right away. Like, if you see a band and you see a picture of them, usually when I look at it, I go, this band, I'm gonna fall for it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was a band I remember in the '80s called The Front.
Oh, yeah.
Remember then? They're kind of like the Doors, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's all these bands that always come around, you see the look, and you go, all right, and then you go, oh, man, this is cheap, But the lyrics they're substantial. They're awesome, man. I mean, Jordan, I like the ballads. I'm a ballad guy.
Yeah, me too. Ballads, that's my whole, I love ballads.
That's me. Yeah. I'm such a sucker for them, and like Jordan is just unbelievable, And so I saw last night on YouTube a great clip of you guys just singing in like a dressing room or something. I don't know. It was on some show.
Yeah, right.
And it was fantastic.
That's
but
cool.
that's what I love is the lyrics right away. You know, are lyrics hard for you to come by?
Well, I mean, it's all relative when you think about like, well, what's difficult, what's really hard. I think that when we're writing a song, like Jordan was one of those that I wrote in completion, and then I brought it to the band.
The whole thing was done?
Yeah, the whole thing. I wrote I wrote it on acoustic guitar and showed it to the guys because it was a really personal song. I thought, why am I writing a song about this? We're making a rock and roll record. Why am I doing this, and why am I making myself so sad and go through this, for these couple of nights? Like, man, it's so draining to write about death and like losing somebody. And then I realized that the night that I finished it and I showed the guys the song, the very next morning, one of my best friends, her mom passed that morning, and she had been sitting like bedside, like going through exactly what that song, and there's a weird synchronicity that just happens.
Absolutely.
But lyrics, like being hard to come by, it depends on what you're writing. Even if we're writing one of these lighthearted, like, ooh baby, you baby, who baby, you baby songs, It's like you want to do it right. So it takes a lot of discrimination, with word placement and how do the lyrics sound, what kind of tones and the melody that you're doing. Yeah, I guess it's difficult, but I've been doing it for so long. Like, I'm a compulsive writer. That's what I'm doing here today.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it is difficult. But I think, like I said, I've been doing it for so long that it's kind of like you just get in the mode where you sit down, okay, I have to finish this. I got to do it. So you go and you write and you go, man, that sucks. Crinkle it up or cross out some lines, edit. Do it again. No, that's not right. I'm missing the mark. It's not genuine. It's not, nope. And then you rewrite. And if you do that, and if you just work really, really hard inside of, 45 minutes, you'll have everything that you need. But it takes getting kicked off of the horse and getting right back on.
Yeah. I found with me, like, when I write a song, as I'm playing the acoustic, the chorus will come out.
Yeah.
And it'll just be something that makes no sense, but then it's locked in. Like I had this song, Highway, and it was like the chorus was man on the highway rolling sideways all alone.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I couldn't find anything better than that. It was kind of cool. It just came to me.
Yeah.
And now I got to figure out what the fuck it means. You know what I mean? So sometimes they come to you and you have to go for it,
Well, yeah, it's like it comes to you like kind of an encrypted message that comes to your antenna, and you go, but those lyrics don't make any sense. Form out the sounds with your mouth. Oh, wait a minute, I just need to change this and that and then this. Oh, great, now it's cool.
Exactly, man. I love this band, Mother Hips.
Oh, yeah, man.
And I used to tour with them, and I would write lyrics. This is what's great about writing lyrics or comedy. I do comedy now. Is there's always somebody that you look up to, so you strive, and I think it makes you way better. And instead of, some people just go, this is fine. But if you're working with people that you respect, like the Mother Hips or say a comedian I'm on the road with, you strive to be way better. And I think it helps. So Tim's lyrics were always these just incredible, weird lyrics, but they made total sense.
Yeah.
And so being around him a lot made me just work harder and harder,
Relationships like that are really important. And I don't think it's just specific to music. It's whatever you're doing. If you're a plumber, if you're an architect, if you're a cobbler, whatever you're doing, it's important to find somebody that's better than you are and hang out with them, because they're going to set a bar that you would have never thought of. And then as soon as you can see the mark, as soon as you can see the bar, then you can start working toward it. But when there's no bar at all, it's like you want to perform and you want to write for the greats and for your own heroes. And act like, I'm going to write this song because if any of my heroes were to hear it, I want them to like it, not me and not my buddy.
That's right.
Because we don't know anything. I want to write a song that's going to impress them.
That's like, as a comedian, you're always performing for the other comedians in the back of the room. The show could be sold out, but you want those 4 people to go, fuck, this guy's rocking it tonight.
Well, that's why it's such a frenetic energy for you guys, and that's why the learning curve it's really sink or swim, because you're performing for your peers.
That's it.
And if you bomb, and if it isn't right, right away, oh man, I'm not going to do that one.
Or if you got hacky, shitty material.
Yeah.
And you're getting laughs, but the guys in the back are like, this guy sucks.
Yeah,
He's doing
right.
Facebook jokes?
Yeah.
Really? You don't have anything else about you? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So one cool thing about it, people are going to be listening to this. I got a lot of listeners. They listen, and they're going to be like, who the fuck is this band, Rival Sons, right? I've been like talking you guys up for like a year on my show. Because I love you guys, and I want to see it happen here. You guys are go to Europe now, kind of like the Strokes, kind of like Kings of Leon. Mm-hmm. You go over there, you start getting some, your foot in the door, and all of a sudden it starts taking off. They love good music there. You're on the cover of Classic Rock this month. Right? I mean, and you can YouTube this band and see you're playing in front of, sometimes at these festivals, 60,000 people.
Yeah, it's pretty trippy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think eventually it's going to kick in here. I mean, it has to, and you did a smart thing where you put a second record out real quick.
Yeah.
Like old 70s style,
Well, we, with this band, as soon as we got together, we sat down and it was like, look, you guys, if we're going to play rock and roll, if we're going to be a rock and roll band, we need to put out 2 records a year.
That's how they did it.
2 records a year and more if we can. But then, we ended up developing and getting a really good team, great management, because you need all of that. You got to have all of that stuff. And then the label and your publicists and all of these people that work really hard behind the scenes to lift you up and to help you win.
Yep.
And so, because with all of that, we've been stripped back to where the reality is 1 record a year. And
which is still a lot, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it is a lot, but I really think that we're the type of band, and actually most bands could make like 3 or 4 records a year, because it's creating, that's what you do. And as long as you don't sit around and do something like give yourself like 6 months to make a record, Yeah, a
lot of times when you're sound checking, you're writing, and you start getting these things you get excited about, and you want to go lay them down, because you're like, you've already made these records, you're out playing the songs, but sound check, you're like, fuck, look at this, man, and then you get hot on that.
Well, you're playing every night, know, so it's like every night you're taking your sword out.
Yeah.
And so you want to sharpen it, and you want to develop new moves in the battle, so to speak. Yeah, I'm a songwriter. I say stupid things like that. But for us, we're playing 2-hour sets now, and we're headlining. And you can only play the same material. You're always trying to do it a little bit differently and entertain ourselves as well as the audience, and having new material to bring in and just increase your catalog makes for a more rounded experience for all of us. So, having more material to draw from and more records. We've been together 4 years. We have 4 records. So it's like these last 2, we've done 1 a year.
Well, you got the EP, then you have the first record, then you have Pressure and Time, and then Head Down, right?
Yeah, that's it. And
here's the funny thing. I like my favorite band. I haven't even seen you guys.
Oh yeah,
because you don't play around here,
Yeah, we used to play in LA when we were first together, but then duty called, and it was overseas, or it was touring in the U.S. even.
I wanted to see the Queen Mary's show, but what was that? New Year's Eve or something?
No,
when was it? It was something.
It was like this last spring, or no. Early summer.
I was doing something that night
around there, and it was a great show, man. We're going to be doing something in LA at the Echo.
Oh, I got to go there
on January 9th.
Oh yeah, I got to see that.
So
I've never even seen you guys.
Yeah,
I got to see that. I mean, I've watched it tons on. I feel like it's an old '70s band for me, where I've seen it on TV, but they haven't come around yet.
Yeah.
Like when I was young, like when is Ted Nugent gonna come?
Yeah, we you're gonna see a train wreck that's going to hopefully make a little bit of sense. That's kind of what our shows are like.
And are you going to be playing what's the occasion for playing in LA?
Just because we've starved our audience out here.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy.
It's sad. We're from Long Beach, but I think we've only played Long Beach a total of 3 times.
Yeah, well, did you guys grow up in Long Beach?
No. Scott is from like the Huntington area. I'm from Wrightwood, little mountain town right behind Mount Baldy.
Oh, I know Wrightwood.
Yeah, but I've been here in Long Beach for about the last 10 years. And then Miley, he's from Long Beach. And Robin is from just outside of Toronto.
Wow.
And then he went to music school down in Texas, so he's been in the States for a long time.
And you guys all live in Long Beach now?
Well, no, now I think Robin, he's thinking about moving to Denver.
Denver?
Yeah, but he lives out in Santa Monica. Miley lives in Estonia now. And Scott lives he was living in Compton for a while. Now Scott's back in Huntington Beach, and I'm still here in Long Beach.
It's so weird.
I know, it is weird.
Like, you guys seem like you should just be living in L.A. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a band house in Beechwood Canyon,
yeah,
a Craftsman.
You know what, Dean? We see more of each other than anybody should ever see of each other.
Yeah, on the road, that's true.
Yeah, so, you're chained at the ankle.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't matter how good you get along, somebody's going to get choked out.
Absolutely. It happens on the road, man.
Yeah.
The guy starts fucking playing the drums on the backrest of the van one too many times.
Yeah, if you got a hangover, everybody's on edge.
Yeah, he gets there.
Yeah.
Now, I watched I've sang 25 years. I watched you sing, and it looks like you're not having any problem. You know what I mean? I mean, some guys you hear, if you're hitting all that stuff like on Pressure and Time, and you get out there, your voice goes, unless you know what the hell you're doing, or if you're warming up, or you're a singer.
Yeah.
But guys will get in the studio. It's easy to sing in the studio. People don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the studio is always a weird place to sing, because I've lived my whole life singing into the dynamic microphones on stage. There's no pop screen, there's no anything, and you can hear yourself on the monitors, and you do just fine, pitch, no problem, whatever you're doing, because there's no net. It's do it all the way through, because we got an audience.
Yeah, and it's going by.
Yeah,
it's
and
just
it's going
like
by, and you're doing
unstoppable time.
You're living right there. You're in that moment, and you don't think about it. But then you go into the studio when it really matters, and it's okay. Put these headphones on your head, sing into a microphone with a diaphragm this big around where you can hear everything. You can hear yourself thinking.
Yeah.
And
it's like, put this microscope on.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Like, man.
It used to freak me out when I first went in the studio, and they'd solo up your vocal. I'd be, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
And they gotta go, you're sharp here, you're pitchy here, you're flat here.
Yeah.
And they're going all the way through.
Yeah.
There's not like anything where you're fixing it. You're going in punching, and your ears are getting fried from the headphones being too loud, and you can't hear.
Well, after doing that for a while, a couple years back, I just turned the corner and I stopped caring. And that's where everything changed for me. Just go in, give it 1 or 2 passes, and we write and record our records within, like 3 weeks. So you get in there, you have no material, and we have to write on the spot. And then the second that the song is done, we're done writing it, then we perform it 1, 2 takes, maybe 3 takes. And same thing with vocals, like first take, like Jordan, that was our practice run through. I was showing the guys how it went. And that was supposed to be my scratch vocal, but it ended up all being there.
Well, the scratch vocal's always edits, better, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not thinking about it.
Yeah. And, but I think for me as a vocalist, it took not caring if I go flat, if I go sharp or whatever, and just doing it and then walking away from it and going, you know what? I feel comfortable about who I am, what I'm doing, not chasing perfection. Just that's the snapshot of who I was at that moment. That's the record. So we make the records that way in an attempt to make an honest representation, Yeah. The bands that do these things, they spend a really long time in the studio, and that works for a lot of people, and man, a lot of great records have been made. But for who we are right now, we're not really interested at this point in developing or fabricating a persona of who we wish we were or who we hope people are going to see us as. You know, it's like, just record it. That's the snapshot. Just trying to be as honest as possible. Because if you're given the choice, like, think about how many photographs you've seen of yourself, you know, throughout your life, and you go, you cringe. Oh, man.
Yeah.
And the reason you cringe is you go, that's not how I want to look. But the truth is that's how you're actually perceived.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't want to accept that. And so I figured that as a writer and as a vocalist, just shine all of that stuff and just do it. Just be ourselves. And I'm actually surprised that it's worked out, you know.
It does work. I mean, the thing I find is you put down a vocal and then you dwell on it all night. But you ever find where you go fire up something like from a year later, and you go, oh, this is fine.
Yeah.
You don't even fucking remember what you were freaking on.
I was getting way too neurotic about it, man.
Totally.
That could have been great. I screwed it up.
You listen and you go, this is great, actually. Like shit you don't put on records, you go, oh, man, that's terrible. And later you go, nah, this is fucking good. You know?
Yeah,
it's weird.
That's why, like, I have a hard time listening to our records, you know, because I listen to it, and say, no, I got to stop, because you always think, man, I could have done this different. I could have done, not like regret, but just like, it's always going to cross our mind, so I just shine it.
So especially the way you're recording.
Yeah.
Because you're doing a record in 3 weeks or whatever, you're writing it from the ground up.
Yeah.
And then 6 months from now, maybe you're playing the song totally better.
Yeah.
Or you play it slower or faster, or it's got a new part in it, and then you go, man, this might be even cooler. But that's when a great live record works.
But also, I mean, once you lay it down and once you write the song and it's a tangible thing, that's it. It is a tangible thing on the record, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, there's no changing it. And so when you're playing it live, like night after night, it's totally natural for it to take on, you know, it grows legs and it becomes its own, you know, its own thing. And like, even if you think it sounds better, well, to the person who's only had the record, a lot of the time they'll hear it and they'll be neurotic and no, well, that's not how the record goes, and I'm really used to listening to that song because I play it on repeat, and and that's fine. But the life that it takes on of its own, once it's lived out on the road, it just kind of grew up, or it traveled and went to another country, so it took on a foreign accent or just whatever.
That's it. It's like My Morning song, Black Crowes. I think it's like 30 minutes live.
Yeah.
That's how it just grew into this thing, you know?
We have songs like that where they just grow and they jam out. And just because we got to occupy ourselves and try to, you know, spur some invention into what we're doing.
Yeah, or you'll just go crazy, you know, on the road, just going out there like a fucking jukebox.
Well, yeah, you really don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're trying. Nobody comes there to see a recital. You know what I mean? The fans, when people come to shows, they want to escape. You know, maybe you hate your boss, or you got an ugly wife, or whatever. You know what I mean? And you just want to come. People want a crucifixion. They want blood. That's what they really want. And I think that I was thinking about this lately. Why are people? They demand so much. I think that a lot of people are, I can't say just other people, all of us. Everyone has unrequited desires and unrequited dreams. So when they come to a show, it's an experience that is definite. It's finite once you get there, and then as soon as the music starts, it becomes infinite, because you're going, where's this energy, this collective thing that's only happening tonight at this location? Where's it going to go? And I think that people are attracted to that because there's an X factor and a question mark, you know. And so I think it's really important to never phone it in, to give everything you got. Just give everything you got, because that's what they came for, and that's our job. You know, that's our obligation to these people that support us.
Yeah, it's like some guy asked me a couple of days ago, how could you drive down to San Diego on your motorcycle and do 30 minutes of comedy? Like, I was like, how can you go to work every day? You know what I mean? Did you just hear what you just said, dude?
Again,
I rode a motorcycle down to San Diego, which is cool in itself.
Yeah, right.
Then I did 30 minutes of comedy, and they gave me some money.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Oh, it was a drag, that long stretch on the 5 where it's nothing but beach.
Damn it.
Man, I know, it's really
this
rough.
view sucks.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he said that to me. I was just like, we have nothing left to talk about here. Yeah. I'll be over here.
Well, people don't get it, you know.
They don't get it, man. That's what's really hard about finding 4 guys that get it. In your band, you got 4 guys. That you have a band that I've tried to put together 25 years.
Yeah.
When I see your band, I see what I tried to do for 25 years of music. And unfortunately, over those 25 years, you run into this guy likes to party, or this guy wants to know where the money's at, this guy wants to fuck chicks, or whatever. You have these different agendas for being in a band. And as soon as you start to hear like, well, I can't make rehearsal tonight, you know, and all that, then you know that guy's done. Yeah, right. You know, and then you got to get a new piece. Now, you have 4 guys in your band that are incredible, and they're all seem to be on the same page, and there's no money. Yeah. I mean, people think there's money. Like, they see you play in front of 60,000, they go, these guys, of course, anybody would do it for money. There's no money. You're in a shitty van. You're cruising around Europe, eating shitty food, good beer, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, things in Europe are actually changing. You know, we did the van thing. Now we have a bus.
Awesome.
And the reason is that things are going so well, and the buzz has it's shot. I can't believe how great the rise has been for it.
Yeah, I think the record was number 11 in the UK or something. That's fucking awesome.
Well, see, for us, now we have a van, and our crew has grown. But we pay for all of our touring ourselves. We don't, you know, there's not like tour support from our label.
Yeah, because what are you on, Earache?
Yeah. And, you know, it's a small independent label. So we pay for everything. So we come back.
Zero.
You know, we always come back with just a little bit of money, and it's really hard to keep things afloat at home. But, you know, we keep doing that. The audience keeps growing, and we've kind of set like our overhead margin for because it's so expensive out there. Oh. From, you know, gas. We got to pay our crew, flights, we got to pay for the bus, like all of this stuff, hotels. We got to pay for everything, and it's kind of like we're still just hunkered down and going through it in hopes that, you know, if the audience keeps growing, we'll be able to make a little bit of scratch, you know, and maybe I could buy a car.
Yeah.
You know?
What about merch? Are you killing it on the merch?
Yeah. Merch does really well. It depends on the country, you know, that we're in. And some countries can get really shisty about how much they ding you.
Taxes and stuff.
Yeah, really bad. And then you'll walk outside and find out that, oh, well, the police are in conjunction with these counterfeiters, and they're selling our merch that looks just like ours right next to our bus. But you can't do anything because you'll go to jail.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's ridiculous. These people are stealing, and we don't have a lot of money, and they're stealing from us because.
And it's the police.
Yeah, it's the police that are doing it.
I see it here all the time.
Yeah.
There's 400 guys out in front of the Hollywood Bowl selling bootleg shirts. Now, when I was growing up and you went to concerts, these cops would storm onto the grounds, bust the guys, and give the shit to the band. Yeah. They go, we caught these guys out here. And they go, oh, thanks, sign some photos or whatever. Now, they're everywhere. The shirts start at like $10. And as you walk down the street, they go to $7. And then they go down to $5. How are they going to compete with selling a shirt for $30? Yeah. And people think, well, your shirts are $30. Yeah, but that's how we're eating. We're not eating from anything else in this fucking thing because you stole our record, remember? Yeah. So we're cool with that, but spend $30 on the shirt.
Mm-hmm. They'll print up CDs, everything. But, you know, people get desperate, and whatever the law allows in these places, there's nothing, you know.
At the end of the day, you get to play rock.
Yeah, I do get to play rock and roll, so.
It's fucking crazy. Now, one thing, I'm a clothes freak. Uh-huh. I'm fat dude now, right? I had Steve Jones on here, and I talk about like fat dudes buying rock clothes. You know what I mean? You still love the stuff, you know? Like I grew up, I used to wear like cool North Beach leather fucking outfits, you know? I just had that jacket made. I love clothes.
Yeah, and I hear you, man.
And you guys have dope outfits, man. Like, it's pretty amazing. Somebody making your clothes now?
Various people make different things, and we have, different designers and shoemakers and different things like that. It's really interesting. I've always been a clothing guy. From a young age, I was taught to dress sharp. Like, no matter what you're doing,
right?
You dress sharp and don't fit in. The worst thing you could ever do, son, is fit in with the crowd, because the crowd is usually wrong about everything. And whatever they're into, set yourself apart, maintain your autonomy, and don't be like them. Dress sharp so that they'll recognize you're different. You'll get treated different, see yourself differently. It would get rough, of course.
Oh, yeah. People would be like, what are you, a faggot? Weird shit,
man.
Oh,
yeah, man. But, and then, being broke and still trying to maintain, like, this is, always, pressing your shirts, always trying to look good and do that. It's like sometimes, my buddy was telling me a story about one of his friends that he lost all his money, on the .com boom and then the failure off of that, and he had his family and everything, lost it all, and he kept a suit at my buddy's house, with like $50 in the suit, but he was living on the streets, trying to get a job, trying to do this, and he says, well, yeah, so I kept this suit, for like a year and a half, and so he called me up one day, says, I need to come get my suit. And he figured that his buddy was going to pawn it or whatever, and he was thinking, man, I'll just give him some money, or you could stay here. So he says, coming by to get the suit. And he says, let me take a shower at your pad. So he cleaned up, grabbed the suit, took the $50, went and got a haircut, got the job.
Oh,
changed everything.
That's it.
Like always, so it was the appearance that helped him do that.
Yeah, man, clothes are like, I trip out on when I see people and they just shop at like the Gap and stuff, and like, yesterday I had a guy on my show, a friend of mine, Kyle Kinane. He's a great comedian, and while I was interviewing him in my house, the mailman knocked on my door and he was giving me this shirt I had ordered from Japan. Yeah. Because I was trying to explain to him how in Japan all the stuff's fitted already and kick ass. Yeah. So you can just buy the dopest clothes, like leather jackets, shirts, pants that are all fitted. Yeah. And he was like, wow, that's cool, and then he saw it, he was like, wow. Yeah. Like Japan has amazing clothes. Have you been to Japan yet?
Oh yeah. Yeah. The Japanese tailors, they got a whole different zen about them, and there's great Japanese tailors out here. Yep. You buy a suit, you buy a 3-piece, and you can go and just spend a little bit of bread at Marshall's or Ross or something, get something right off the rack, you take it, and then you take it to one of these Japanese tailers. Boom.
It's unbelievable.
It's sweet, and people are going, where did you get that, man? Oh, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, all this, I picked it up in Camden, whatever. Right. Just like, yeah. But man, I mean, the clothes are just a big thing with rock to me.
Well, fashion and music, they've always gone hand in hand.
For sure. I mean, the bands, like, you'll have a shitload of bands that just don't do anything, and then like a band like the Strokes, like say, when they came out, it was this whole kind of New York look. They had a whole vibe to them, and boom, of course the band's gonna catch fire, Mm-hmm. And then you got kind of the other bands, like you'll have hippie bands that, of course, wear the bell bottoms and everything, like, like Sheepdogs. I really like Sheepdogs.
Yeah, I just got hip to those guys 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And I figured, another Canadian rock and roll band.
That's what I thought.
I've heard a lot of Canadian rock and roll. Holy shit.
Great band.
Great, yeah, man. I was so happy. And we've been talking on Facebook and Twitter and all of that stuff. So hopefully we're going to do something together.
Yeah, my thing was, Sheepdog's Rival Sons would be just a sick-ass tour.
Yeah, I think we're working on that.
That would be unbelievable, man. Because that record is phenomenal, man. The one they did with at the Black Key Studio, you know, and the last one I think is fantastic. You know, now that's another band that's real deal to me. You know what I mean? Of course they're Allman Brothers and they're that's Southern based, but man, it's so real.
The Allman Brothers are great, man.
The Allman Brothers are the best. I love Allman Brothers, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying they feel so real, like it's cool. But there's two bands right there in like 10 years to me, like, and I like My Morning Jacket, you know.
My Morning Jacket, they've kind of gone over there. They're unique unto themselves,
right?
You know what I mean? And then when I like My Morning Jacket, and they're really cool guys too. You have them, but then Fleet Foxes came out. My Morning Jacket, Fleet Foxes, where the line is blurred. Fleet Foxes blows my mind.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of my favorite.
Who is it?
Fleet Foxes.
I haven't heard it.
Talk about songwriting and everything. Really cool. Fleet Foxes reminded me of My Morning Jacket. They reminded me of some elements of My Morning Jacket. The elements that I really liked.
Right.
And then now there's this band that's doing that took it way. You got to check it out, man.
I will immediately. That's why music's cool right now. It's kind of 70s style, where a guy tells you about something, or also like early metal. Like I'm a Metallica freak, you know, and early on in San Fran, that whole demo passing around, like, oh fuck, listen to this Exodus or whatever, you know. Yeah. That shit. It's kind of like that now. It's word of mouth, or a lot of like Enemy magazines from Europe. Always are on the mark.
Mojo. I think Mojo's probably my favorite one. I love Mojo. I think they've maintained their integrity.
Mojo's amazing, except for the fucking $20 or whatever.
Yeah,
you go with Mojo,
but you get a
or
CD
food
with it.
Yeah,
That's pretty sweet, you know.
Yeah, you do get a CD, and you get sick ass photos and real stories on the band. No bullshit like one page thing.
Their head editor Phil Alexander we did a long interview with him, and I was freaking out. The whole band were like, we're going to be in Mojo magazine. They gave us, like
That's
4
a big
stars.
Deal.
And to get that recognition from Mojo, amazing,
Yeah.
Really amazing.
I think with rock right now, I mean, this like Zeppelin coming in on the Kennedy honors, that's insane to me.
Yeah, right.
Like, I think it's so fucking, like, to me, Zeppelin is the all-time best to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, to me, that's just me. Like, there's no other band. And I came on to Zeppelin late. You know, I was a kid that was into Kiss. Yeah. Zeppelin was the neighbors' music, the older. And now I just can't even believe it. Every day I find something new on it. And for years now, I'm not bored of it.
Yeah.
You know, like right now I'm hooked on Presence.
Yeah.
You know, but I can't believe there they are, like at the White House. Right. Fucking Zeppelin, man. I mean, Jimmy Page.
Me and Antoine here, we were talking about it the other day, and he goes, "What's up with Barack Obama talking about?" No, man. No. That belongs to us. Yeah. That belongs to us, man. They can't be No, not cool, not cool. I just thought, like, it's cool because you know that Obama growing up in Hawaii and
smoking some weed.
Yeah, smoking the grass. He listened to Zeppelin.
Oh, Kashmir was definitely Obama, yeah.
So it's, it's cool. It's
I think it was part of him, definitely. He knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
More than Letterman did when Letterman had him on.
Right.
I do love that they didn't get back together.
As soon as Robert Plant didn't want to do it, I was just really hoping, like, man, don't cheapen this thing.
Yeah, me too. Like when the Clash was offered like $30 million to do Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
When everybody was still there, it was just kind of like, oh, you can't do that. You know, it's the band. No matter what, like I saw Page Plant in '96. That was fucking cool. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They played T for One. I can't believe it.
But it was Page and Plant. It wasn't like Zeppelin.
Yeah. I don't need... I didn't get to see Zeppelin. Zeppelin and Skinner are the only bands I haven't seen. I've seen everyone. Growing up in Day and the Greens, I saw them all. But it was the only band I didn't see, and I don't need to see them now because it's not going to be like 77 Zeppelin or How the West Was One Zeppelin. It's not going to be that.
Yeah.
And so it's just going to let you down. I like the mystique and the old school magic. I didn't see the Doors, but if Jim was alive right now and they got back together, I wouldn't want to see that.
Yeah, right.
You know, I don't want to see that.
For me, I have that same thing. Like, I never want to meet any of my heroes, ever. You know, it's not really.
It's tough.
Well, yeah, because I have what I need.
Yep.
They've already given me all I need, and that's their music. I don't need to, you know, biographies or reading up. I don't need to know everything, because they're a person, and all I need is the music.
Art.
All I need is the art, and that's it.
And a lot of times when you meet them, then you're like, it's not as cool because you've put them on this plateau. There's this mystique, this thing around them, and then you meet him and you go, oh, yeah, like I met Prince. That was cool still because he was just a weirdo, and I was like, oh, cool. He leveled it out. But I met Sting, and it was like, Sting, you know?
Yeah, right.
It was like, you know what I mean?
It was really something when we played in Camden. I don't know, 2 months ago, right around there, and we were hitting the UK leg of the tour, and Jimmy Page comes to our show.
I read that.
Yeah, and he was into the band, wanted to come check it out, and he came with our buddy, the photographer phenom Ross Halfin.
Oh, I love Ross.
So they come, and Whispering Bob Harris is there from I don't know, Whispering Bob Harris.
Yeah,
he's a legend. But they come, and you know, there's some other celebrities hanging out in the green room, you know, backstage like usual, but they come in, and I'm thinking, that's Jimmy Page wants to meet us.
That's
in our
crazy.
Dressing room. So there's that whole thing, and you know, it was real nice and everything, but it was like I never needed to meet him. I would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because that's a guy, but the music is a whole other thing, you know. But that guy, it was the validation of thinking, he thinks enough of us, he wants to get to know us.
That's super cool.
So we gave him copies of the vinyls because he's a big vinyl guy.
Yeah, he is a vinyl freak, man. I love that.
But he was really sweet, and I was really taken back because a lot of these, you know, artists, these aging rockers that are so long in the tooth, they're not really present. You know what I mean? Or they're
it's about them still.
Weird.
Isn't that weird?
Right.
Like they come in and they'll look at you, but they're looking through you like, far out, man. Really cool sound. And then they look around like, any chicks here want me?
Yeah.
Who recognizes me?
Jimmy Page was not like that at all. He was very present. He was very, you know.
Yeah, Jimmy Page is just really a god,
impressed.
huh?
Yeah.
I mean, what about that guy? He had everything. He had the look. Okay,
Yeah.
He had the dope clothes, dragon pants. He's fucking up there wearing dragon pants, dude. Okay, he's playing the sickest guitar on the planet. He's got just two Marshalls on the stage. That's it. And then he writes the riffs. He produces the records.
Yeah.
You know, and then just destroys it for 10 years straight.
That's
and
it.
you just go like, that guy's a god.
Well, to have him come backstage, I think Scott, you know, our guitar player.
Oh, he had to lose
I think
his
he
mind.
was really, you know, but he was playing it cool and everything. But I know that he must have been just coming out of his skin.
Yeah,
Same thing like hanging out, or you know, with Jeff Beck just recently, and Billy Gibbons.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a guitar player.
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah, and meeting all of those guys is. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But I've never put myself in the position like, I got to get over there and I got to meet him, because it's kind of like, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to, you know.
Billy Gibbons is a nice guy, huh?
Oh my God, so down.
He give you one of those picks. It's like a I don't know. It's like a silver dollar or something.
Yeah.
Or some Mexican coin or something he gave me. It was a pick.
Yeah.
So here, man. And then he let me put on his guitar. I'm like, who does that?
Right.
You know? Super cool guy. Jeff Beck, saw him at the 101 Cafe like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
That's not a guy you see every day. Like, you never see Jeff Beck. And the guy, you're like, oh, Jeff Beck, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He's eating eggs at the 101.
Yeah, right.
Those are guys you don't see, you know? Mm-hmm. It's cool to see those guys, and thank God they're still alive.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when you look at like a couple nights ago, I went and saw Aerosmith, you know?
Yeah.
You can't believe the guys are alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, how the fuck are these guys alive?
After going through so much, you know, and putting their bodies through so much, and writing the book, you know, writing a chapter in in rock and roll history.
Just fucking.
And they're still right here. I'm bummed because so many of my favorite blues guys, they, you know, in the last 15 years, they just dropped like flies.
Yeah.
I never got to see them.
And these guys are going to eventually die too. I mean, like I can't stand Aerosmith after a course like 80.
Right.
But what they did before that, like they played Last Child a couple nights ago, okay? That's all I needed.
Yeah.
And they played it like their life depended on it. I couldn't fucking believe what it sounded like.
Yeah.
And I'm getting goosebumps right now because I was like, fuck, this sounds like when I saw them in 78, you know? And they were killing it. Yeah. Great playing, great singing. But then they just hit you with Jaded after, and you go like, fucking put a bullet in my head.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense at all. That shit is...
Well, I look at all...
I mean, we understand how it works.
Yeah, I know how it works, and it's kind of like, okay, they gave us some really good music, and then now they want to do this other stuff. Yeah, that's fine. That's, you know, because I got those other records. I'll just listen to those. But it's
I understand
cool if
it.
you change your mind and you want to make this hybrid rock sort of a thing. Okay, man, that's fine. You know,
it's weird though, because there's no one in the place. They're all old as fuck. The crowd. Yeah. I mean, this crowd was fucking old. This is the first time I've been at a concert and was like, these people are old, because I'm like 46.
Yeah,
and I got turned on to them in 78. So these guys found them in 77, let's say 76. 75, and they're probably 18, smoking weed, you know, high school. So they're 10 years older than me, but they look 30 years older, you know, people age that are just like, wow. And Jaded comes on, that's the piss tracks. The guy's like, oh, cool, I can go take a piss now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But, you know, what are you going to do? I always dream of the Stones doing the 72 tour again.
Yeah.
They can do it. The guys are alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they're not going to do that, you know?
You know, talking about the, you know, the older bands, these aging rock and rollers, we got to play with AC/DC about 2 years ago. Oh, man.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man.
The best. I got Bon Scott right here. Look.
Oh, excellent. They blew my mind.
Yeah.
You know, we saw him backstage, real feeble, you know, kind of old, you know, just thinking, you know, like Angus, he's like shoulder to shoulder, he's this wide, and he's straight out of the Shire.
Yeah, thin as cardboard.
And he's got a towel around him, just thinking, wow, okay, I don't want to bother him, though. You know, it's fine. So then they get up on stage. Oh, my God. The fire and the voodoo, you know, coming off of all of those guys. They killed it for 2 hours straight. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't
Phil
believe
Rudd.
Everybody. Phil Rudd's back there. He's got his, you know, sideburns. He's back there just chain smoking.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Perfect. Never fluxing at all. This dope groove, you know.
But I was so impressed. I think out of all of the bands that we've played with, you know, from the older school, those guys blew my mind.
Yeah.
It really, really blew my mind.
And they're playing on probably about 130 dB.
Oh, yeah.
Man, really I can't even believe it, you know?
Yeah. We got a heads up from their crew about when they were going to be shooting the cannons, you know, for those about to rock, they're like, it's going to happen right there, so plug your ears.
Fucking loud. Now, there's a guy, Brian Johnson. I saw him on the Back in Black tour. I mean, you know, when you're doing that record in 1980 and you're singing, you know, he says like Have a Drink on Me is so fucking hard to sing. Yeah. You know, it's so high and Back in Black. Mm-hmm. Imagine when he's in that studio laying that down, that he's not thinking 30 years from now, I'm going to be singing this.
Well, I mean, Brian Johnson's story, that's the top tier of fill-in.
Oh,
he did
there's no better.
Nobody has ever grabbed the ball and run with it like him. Nope.
Second biggest selling record of all time.
Yeah,
Back in Black.
I can't think of any substitute that's ever subbed. No, nobody comes to mind. You know,
ever.
What he did was incredible.
But imagine right now when he's out there and he's like, Back in Black. You know, it's
he was doing it.
He's doing it.
He was doing it. His voice really held out. Probably like it held out really good for about the first 85%, and then during the last 15%, you know, I'm really listening. You know, gets a little winded and everything, but he still sounds great. And I couldn't believe that he was holding it up. Just really,
it's crazy,
for that long. So impressive, man. To watch these older dudes, all these guys, where, and it's not just in rock and roll or in music, but just in life in general. People get to that age, they kind of hang their guns. Oh, retirement. Oh, this, and I'm just gonna take it easy because I'm getting. These guys, all of those guys get to be 22 years old again for 2 hours every night. Everybody in the industry. And I watched these guys. We played with Judas Priest and Alice Cooper and I don't know, a whole bunch of other people. And you watch them and you go, that's the fountain of youth.
Yeah.
These guys, they can get laid, they can party it up, everything, and they're getting old.
And they can get laid.
They get the life. You know?
They do.
They get to relive their glory days every night, and they get to live. If they're stuck in suspended animation.
Yeah, every football guy tries to do it.
Right.
You know, they like Brett Favre, like, oh, I'm going to retire. And then he comes back, With rock, if you got that catalog, man, like Tom Petty or anybody, where they just go out every year and go, here's those tunes you love. And, man, you're right. It is a fountain of youth. I never even thought about it. Like, even with myself, I feel totally young at 46 because of music. And I do comedy, and I'm out every night doing comedy, and I'm around young people. And you're in it. You're living your life. And I think that's how you lived a long time if you get up past the drugs.
Yeah.
You know?
Certainty of purpose, man.
Exactly. How old are you?
Well, I'm going to be 33.
33. That's fucking young.
Yeah, I feel.
What kind of music do you like right now? Besides Sheepdogs, you were saying?
Oh man, I'm all over the map.
Yeah. Any new music though? I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, Fleet Foxes,
right?
Definitely. I heard that Alabama Shakes record. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, it's like there's a couple of songs. New music.
You down with the Black Crowes with the new lineup?
I haven't really listened to it.
That last
much.
record,
like, for me, when Mark was in there, those are really the golden years.
Absolutely.
For me.
Southern
That's
Harmony.
not to say that they haven't done great things, because they have.
Right.
You know, they have. But I think that now that I'm playing rock and roll, I stopped listening to rock and roll. Because if this is what I'm doing, I don't want to like start picking up and listening to the Black Crowes and somehow like seeping into my head.
It's true, it happens.
Yeah, that's
man,
why
especially with melodies.
Yeah,
you'll be like, oh, da, 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 and you'll go, oh fuck, that's Sting Me. Yeah, it happens.
That's always happened for me, and I know it's probably really neurotic, but when I was a kid, you know, I started writing songs like seriously when I was probably about 12 or so, and then everybody was getting into the Beatles, and I would hear all of the artists, you know. I didn't let myself listen to the Beatles.
Yeah.
Because I would hear other people writing songs and bands using all these Beatles progressions. I go, no, I'm not going to do it. So I never listened to the Beatles. I didn't listen to the Rolling Stones. I did listen to Led Zeppelin, though. Couldn't not do that.
Can't get away from that.
But, and then, you know, when I was doing the singer-songwriter thing and having a band, like when Coldplay came out, they were like the biggest thing. Never bought a Coldplay record, never listened to them.
I never
when
got
Radiohead came out,
never
bought a Radiohead thing because I heard it and I go, man, I like that. Psh, I don't want to listen to this.
Did you get into the all country stuff like Wilco, Sun Volt?
Oh yeah,
I love that shit, man. Ryan Adams.
I think never really got into Ryan Adams, but that's not because I didn't like it. Just never.
Right, that Gold record, I loved it.
But I think Wilco was like. They should be a national treasure, man.
Oh, that fucking band. Right now, they put out great records.
I can't believe it. Like, it's... Yeah. And when Nels Cline got on there, it just took a band that I already liked and went, huh, great.
It's so weird because Jay Bennett's out and I go, oh, this band's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Being There to me is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And then that tour, I did some shows with him and I saw a lot of the Being There tour. And then even after that, the next one, I think is Summer Teeth or whatever. You know, they had that She's a Jar, all that. It was like this dark, cool shit. Then he's out. I'm like, they're done. Oh, nope. They just, you know, and now the last record and even the one before it with the seagull on it, I always forget the names of the records.
Yeah.
The one with the seagull on it. And
Sky Blue Sky.
Yeah, fuck, man.
All of the records are good, man.
All of them.
Blows
The one
my
with the
mind.
hell is chrome and spiders and all that.
Yeah, the Yankee Hotel.
That fucking...
Or no, Ghost is Born.
Ghost is Born.
I love Wilco, man.
Me too.
I love it, and it's like I feel good, safe listening to it because it's so at the other end of the spectrum from what we're doing. Like, okay, I can listen to that.
Oh, that's great tour bus music too. When you get off, you put it on, and it's just like, you know, you can just mellow down. You know, I gotta tell you, I just got a couple more things here. I loved, first of all, my favorite song of all time by you guys is "Manifest Destiny 1" because it's just like. I don't even know. It's just psychedelic. It's long.
Yeah.
And it's something that no one's going to do right now. They're not going to put out a fucking 10-minute song or whatever. I saw some live clips. You don't sing it falsetto live, right?
I wish I could.
You just can't hear it?
Well, no, it's not that at all. It's that with we're playing 6 nights a week.
Oh yeah, so you're just burnt.
And I gotta scream my lungs out for 2 hours a night.
Do you ever go in ears?
No,
You just
I
don't
just
like
can't
it.
do it. I just can't really do it. You know, it just doesn't feel right. I like connecting to the band, and
I never did it because by the time I was out, when they first came out, they were like $10,000.
Yeah, and technology's changed a lot. You know, maybe one of these days, I'll give it another pass and check it out because now they have like bass drivers and it's a different thing. But whenever I tried it, just felt like I was trying to have sex with like 8 condoms on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's
like,
not rock.
It's not. It doesn't feel right. I like being able to connect with the band and feel my voice coming back at me. Feel the band, you know.
Yeah, I like to feel the actual wind coming off the speakers and the bass drum.
Yeah.
And also one thing I don't like about them is all the bands. It's great because the singers sound good now. Like if they're not going to be blown out, but I can't stand looking at them fucking with them all the time. Yeah. They're always pushing them in their ear, or they'll take one out for a bit, then they put it back in, and it's just like this. It becomes this fucking like distraction.
Like this, where they'll do this. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
You get that? They get 1 foot up on the monitor, take the thing out,
they pop it out so they can feel for a minute.
You open this up. Hey, baby. Hey, you in the first row. Yeah.
Exactly. It's horrible.
But you know what? I mean, I don't know what they're going through, but inners to me they don't really do it. But singing falsetto, a lot of my falsetto just gets taken out, and it takes me not singing for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Because I get road voice.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember one year I think it was like 255 shows in a year.
Yeah.
And I found like after a while, I would warm up a lot, but immediately you go, well, I better start saving this. So I started doing warm-ups big time. And then after that, I could sing hours.
Yeah.
And never phased me. But after the show, you can't be rapping with people all night. Like, yeah, man, and then we were over there. Because you start drinking, you start talking louder, and then you're up all night, you're not sleeping, and then it's gone.
Sleep is vital.
Sleep is
that was one of the big reasons for us to decide, okay, can we make some bread and send it home, or do we pay for a bus? Having the bus allows us to go to bed at night, instead of, okay, roll up to the hotel, check in,
takes
and
hours.
then get there, and then sitting there. I hate hotels, man, because it's quiet, and you just came from a loud show and everything, and it's always a new bed. So having the bus allows me, like if the other guys are going to be up partying, I got to take care of my voice. So, maybe have a couple of beers or not, and lay down, read a book, put some earplugs in, knock out, man.
That's it. I call it the submarine, the band submarine.
Yeah,
You're just cruising through these towns in your own world, and people are like right out front getting ready to go to work, and you're just going like whatever in that bus,
Yeah, and it's, it's a traveling microcosm, man.
It's crazy, man. I love it. Shit, man. I mean, first of all, I'm glad that I finally got to have you on the show.
Yeah, of course, Dean.
Because, it was like, I kept saying, no, I wanted to have you, but just because I was a singer and I was so impressed with you, I was like, wow, this guy's fucking great. And I don't say that every day. I saw the greats. You know what I mean? I've seen everyone, like I said, except for Zeppelin and Skynyrd. So I was like, I gotta have this guy on the show. But I really want to come see you guys January 9th.
Yeah, man, January 9th at the Echo.
And then what about a new record? You're going to do a new record?
Yeah, we're trying to negotiate that right now. Scott and I are working on, it's really scheduling. Like, when can we get in there? We're looking at our touring schedule. In January it's going to be, we got Canada, and then we got the United States, and then, we've got Europe after that, but we're trying to fit in 3 weeks to go back to Nashville. Same studio.
Is that the Black Keys guys' studio?
No.
Whose studio is that you're at?
Oh, Honey Pie Studios. That's our producer, Dave Cobb, he has a studio, and it's not the Black Keys guys, but like the guys from the Greenhorns are over there, and in the adjoining studio all the time.
What made you guys choose him?
He's been the same producer for every record. Yeah, he gets what we're doing. Yeah. He doesn't try to stick his nose in anything. He knows exactly what we're doing, and he's great for if somebody's stuck, with coming up with something on the instruments. He'll help because he's a great writer. Oh, well, hey, try this. And he's really good with it because he knows who we are. He knows how we sound. And then I use him as a sounding board when I'm writing all my melodies or writing songs. I go, hey, man, look, just stop me from getting too arty, because this is a rock and roll band. Yeah. And,
it's still cool, though. Arty lyrics are cool.
I'll be like, what do you think? He'll be like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of depressing. Why don't you go, just go write another song. Just hold on to that one. All right. But I trust him that way, because I do know that our audience, they're looking for rock and roll music, and I'll write ballads all day long. Yeah. But, I really trust him to tell me, like, yeah, man, you're getting a little too...
you got to have the ballads on there.
Yeah, that sounds a little bedwetter, Jay. Okay, man. Thanks, Dave.
Bedwetter.
Yeah.
I think the next record, man, it's going to be interesting to see, because Pressure and Time and Head Down are totally different. Yeah. They're so different, it's like Zeppelin, you know what I mean? Each record was like, whoa, this is way different.
Well, yeah, you got to change.
You got to change, man.
You have to keep, you don't want to make the same record over and over again, and you don't want to stay the same. Hopefully you're going to grow. Hopefully we're going to go through a lot of changes artistically, because that's the only thing that makes it worth it artistically is, see how fast this horse can run.
Yeah, it's going to be cool to see.
Are we going to be able to keep growing musically? And I think that if we hit a ceiling, that's when it's going to be time to hang our guns. You know what I mean? Yep. Just hang it up, because just make it vital. Make it a living, breathing thing.
What about Earache, the good label?
Yeah.
That's a metal label, right?
Oh, my God, yeah. It's a complete metal. We're the only rock and roll band.
How did that even happen?
They came knocking out of nowhere. They found us on the internet.
You had like a video on there or something?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a video on there, and Digby, the owner, the head of the label, calls our management. Oh, this is Earache Records. We're really interested in the guys. The manager tells us, and we're thinking, what? This is it's got to be a joke. How do we fit into the heavy metal genre at all? Why would we ever do that? So just kind of brushed it off. They came knocking again, and they really wanted to work with us, and we thought, wait a minute. That's pretty awesome. To go with, like, the largest independent metal label that has been known for years, the metal label. And if we put ourselves in that, and, we'll stick out on the label, it'll be good for us, we'll get attention, and it's also pretty punk rock.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you know what? fucking heavy metal.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this. And I didn't understand how we fit into it. And I talked to them, and they really said, like, you guys make the kind of rock and roll that just barely predates metal. Like, you guys are playing what it was just before it became heavy metal. And I thought, oh, because I wasn't well versed in metal at all.
Right.
At all, because of the lack of blues for the most part in most of the heavy metal music, and then all of the subgenres of metal that, you know,
yep,
it splintered off, and it just went. There's over here. There's 30 different kinds of metal going on now. But
that's true, though. Kind of that, like, right before metal, you have, like, I was talking to Miley, and I said, some of it's kind of Whitesnake that you have, and he was thinking cock rock Whitesnake, Still of the Night.
No.
But what he doesn't know, what I was trying to explain to him, is that's not an insult, because I understand when you first look at a band, you go, oh, the Rainbow Bar and Grill Sunset Strip Rockers. That's not what it's about to me. What it's about was early on, when Coverdale was way into the blues and R&B and soul, and when he sang in Rainbow and shit, you know, and you had that, like, that thing, them, UFO, you know, all these rock bands that are, like, were just incredible, like Robin Trier, just stuff in the 70s they were all rock, but they were so different.
Well, they had the blues.
They had the blues.
Blues was still in there.
That's what it was.
They took the blues out.
Yep.
But, you know, when the blues were in there, I think that blues always rears its head. It always comes back.
It does.
Blues is on the rise a little bit, but it's made an appearance, and I think that blues always ends up poking its head out whenever, like, hope seems just about lost.
It grabs its credit.
Yeah.
Comes out and goes, me.
Yeah, it's like whenever we get too far away from the fountain, from the source, we go, there's no water out here, we're all gonna die artistically. What's all this crap that's coming out? Blues ends up just appearing, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
Remember? You need to come back over here. Come back to the blues.
Yeah.
Make you feel good. It's real.
Yeah.
You know, and
try some of this.
Yeah, and the people go, oh, yeah, man, I really like this. Like, what's this? You guys are playing this blues-infused rock. It's called rock and roll. Blues-infused rock.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me over, man. Right out here in Long Beach. So the January 9th, the Echo in Los Angeles.
Yeah, out in Silver Lake.
And Silver Lake, when's the tickets going on for sale?
I don't know. I think pretty damn quick. So
yeah, I'll tweet it or whatever. And you got a Twitter?
Yeah, at Rival Sons.
At Rival Sons, yep. I always see it. And you had a new video out today.
Yeah,
which is cool. Right. I saw it, the dirt bike one. It was pretty wild.
We were, we were touring so much, and we needed to crank out a video, but we were on the road. And what are we going to do? We had wanted to work with Simon, the animator, and just because he's really imaginative. So,
it was cool.
Yeah, we said, "What do you got?" And he's like, "I want to do the motorcycle," you know.
Yeah, it was cool.
And he told me
total 70s.
Yeah, we just thought right on
sand dunes, California.
And he's great, and we just figured, well, cool. I hope everybody's cool with us not being in the video, but that's what we wanted to do, so whatever, you know.
I love the last one. It was kind of There Will Be Blood to me.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that kind of church thing of There Will Be Blood with the guy.
Yeah, getting to, like, sing, it was really trippy for me, like, wait, you know, I read the treatment that our buddy Greg had written for it. And I go, oh, man, I'm going to get to sing in a real church in front of a real congregation, and I get to hold, like, 2 snakes in each hand.
Yeah, it's great.
I think I can do that.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
That's great, man.
Yeah, that's one for the bucket list, for sure.
Good videos, man. You got great videos. What was the one, Face the Light?
Face of Light.
Man, I love that song. That one looks like you guys just kidnapped a park and shot it real quick.
That's really what happened. We didn't have a license or anything. We did it up in, what is it? Damn it, what's that territory? If Brits listen to this interview, they're going to kill me. But we were in the middle of a tour, and we took one day off. Like, okay, we're going to go out there. And I felt really weird because it's a ballad, but with the treatment and everything. And even when you watch, I can't watch that video because it's the Jay show. It's just me. It's my face.
That's always weird.
And we're walking around. I'm like, man, you know, really, I can't. You know, I can't stare at myself.
That's how it is when you're the front man.
Yeah,
you know?
But I'm used to us being a band and, like, you know, we're a gang, and because that's that's our identity, even though I'm the front man or whatever.
Right.
I see myself as I'm the guy that sings.
Yeah,
Because
it's true with your
if
band. It's not like you're the front man.
Yeah.
I mean, Scott feels like he's attacking just as hard. You know what I mean?
Well, everybody in the band,
Yeah.
if you come and you see us play live, Rival Sons is the sound of 4 people soloing all the time.
Yeah.
You know, but it's, so then with that video, it felt really strange to me, like, oh man, I don't know, I don't really.
It works.
All right, yeah, it worked, you know. And
You got to
people
get the
liked
chicks
it.
on board, man.
Yeah.
That's what sells rock.
Yeah, chicks.
The dudes get on it first, and you sell a few records, and then the chicks get on board, and you go, whoa.
Well, if the girls get on board, everybody gets on board.
That's it,
And
because
if
the
you're-
dudes want to go see the chicks at the show.
Nobody's happy if the girls aren't dancing.
Yeah, that's
know what
so
I mean?
true. That's why most metal bands had a ballad somewhere along the way.
That's
Metallica
right.
had one.
Yeah.
You know, they slowed it down for a minute.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, if you got to treat the ladies right, keep them happy, and everything works out.
That's it, man. Well, thanks for having me, and I'll
course,
see you soon. And check out Rival Sons, and tell your friends about it, man, because that's old school. That's how it works.
That is.
You know, tell your
Word of
friend
mouth.
this fucking band's great. Check them out. Don't steal their music, and shit. Maybe you'll be here with the Sheepdogs this summer or something.
That'd be great, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Of course, Dave.
I'll see you later.
Later.
All right, guys, everybody, don't forget, subscribe right there, and we'll see you soon. See ya.